Welcome to the channel. I am Justin B. McBride. This is my Jeep Gladiator Winston, and today we're doing a little bit of surgery on the interior of Winston here. We're going to install the SoundSkins Global sound deadening template. So the cool thing about their sound deadening mats is they're already laser cut to fit the interior of whatever you drive. You just go on their website, order up the kit that matches your car, and boom, shows up and you get to tear your interior out like I'm about to do. Now, before we get going on all of this, I have already ran a baseline decibel test. This is our baseline reading right now. I'm just sitting in the garage talking to the camera. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let it get a baseline reading. The engine is running. So this is just the diesel engine, no AC. I'm already starting to sweat sitting in here. Let's see what our baseline reading is. Looks like about 45 and a half. So let's get driving and see what it looks like at different speeds. So leaving my little neighborhood here, we're probably gonna do 10 miles an hour or less. That's looking like about 52 to 54 decibels. Looks pretty healthy, around 65 as well. We're gonna get up to 70 and then we'll test 80. AC is turned off, so it's super hot. So 60 on the highway is about 65. All right, let's punch it. Looks like 70 highway is about, I think it said 67. We'll say 68. Like 80 was just over 70. Now I don't know if it matters, but I have the microphone on the decibel reader pointing up. It's as centered as I can kind of get it here, just floating on its own. We're gonna just get some street driving as well. The other thing to note, I have the diesel engine, so probably different results with the gasser. Looks like basic, just street driving around town, you're getting about 62, 63 decibels. So all of this is without AC, so I'm going to turn on the AC as well so you can have an understanding of what kind of what the AC sounds like. It is currently 88 degrees out, so this will run pretty high. I have it set on low, so it'll probably throw itself into max here. Just as a quick recap, at idle, we were around 45 and a half decibels, 10 miles an hour, 52 decibels, 45 miles an hour, 65 decibels, 60 miles an hour, 65 and a half, 70 was right around 68, and 80 miles an hour peaked out at 72 decibels, which was basically the same level as my conversation speech. So there you go. Those are a few baselines that we can use after everything's installed to compare and see if there really is a big sound difference driving at various speeds. I do have two other things we're going to install while I have everything out. The Desert Does It seat jackers and then the Armorlite rubber flooring. I had vinyl flooring in my Bronco and absolutely missed it, so we're going to add something similar here into Winston. So I've got everything unboxed and on the ground here, including my tripod. Move. The Armorlite front buckets are up here. I have the other one in the basement for the back seat. But as far as the SoundSkins, they seem really easy to figure out. They give you a diagram that's numbered, and then on the back of each one, they're labeled as well. So I think I'm just gonna start by moving into removing everything, kind of get this stuff out of the way, get the carpet and seats out, and start putting them in.
That was a long day and I didn't get as far as I wanted, but the carpet and the seats are out. Those electrical connections under the seats, they're a huge pain. So if you're doing this yourself, take your time on those. The little red tab slides forward and then you have to just press and pull it apart. Finally, I just gave it hell and they came apart. And I'm so happy they did because everything's out. I've got a lot more work to do, but I'm gonna call it a day because it's 110 degrees in the garage. So we'll be back tomorrow to get a little bit further.
I think it's safe to say that I didn't get as far as I thought I would yesterday. But seats are out, carpet's out, time to do cleaning and prep. So I'll vacuum it out and then I'm gonna hit it with an Adams Polishes alcohol-based adhesive prep type stuff. And then we'll lay down the floor, make sure I have everything in the right spots, and then start to adhere it down and then use their little roller to stick it in. So when you're unboxing these, they come in sheets like this, but if you look on the back, you kind of see where they're laser cut out. So all you have to do is pop out the design. And mine have been sitting in the garage for a few months, so I think they're a little melted, especially because, like I said, it's pushing over 100 degrees in here. But it just kind of comes right apart. Super easy. I did just learn the hard way. Don't step in this stuff. It sticks to your shoes. So just be aware of that. Now I feel like I'm Spider-Man when I walk around because it's like worse than gum. Ta-da! So there you go. Just kind of peels right out. And then there's labels on the back. So this says 15 passenger backseat piece. And I've just been laying them out before peeling the back sticker paper off, just so I know how they're all gonna go, and that way they're in place. And it looks like some of the trim, this has to tuck under some of the plastic trim. So, all right, passenger back seat right here. All of my floor panels are positioned, and I noticed that the floor drain plugs aren't cut out of them, so I'm just gonna get a box knife, cut those out, And then that way when I put in my vinyl floor on top, I'll have access to those plugs, because the idea of the vinyl floor is you can just kind of quote unquote hose it out and it'll drain out the plugs. So I'm going to do that, as well as in the back I need to create a relief somewhere for my red arc system that I will eventually install. So some of this stuff is custom to the way I'm building the Jeep out. You may not even be concerned about the floor plugs, but for me that's a Jeep thing, so I want to make sure I have those. So I'm going to go through, identify all of those, and then I'm just going to cut out a big square around them rather than trying to follow the shape exactly. And that way, when the rubber floor is in, it doesn't have to interfere with the sound deadening. But it looks like everything is going to fit super clean. You do need a roller, so I'll grab my roller. All this stuff I'm going to link in the description for you too. But you need a roller, and then that way when you peel the sticker back off, you can roll it on. So let's track down all of those drain holes and cut them out. All of the reliefs are cut, and I was just about to take a break from the heat when it started raining. How perfect is that? So that buys me a little bit more time to work out here. Cooled it off already, and I'm going to start rolling these in, making this permanent, and that gives me a little bit more time to eventually get these door cards done. I have to have the Jeep ready to drive tomorrow by 5 p.m. So a little bit of rain actually helped me today rather than slowing me down. Thanks, rain.
At this point, I realized that leaving these out in the hot garage for the last month or so probably wasn't the best idea, because peeling off that sticker backing was a challenge. I think if you get these and they're fresh and at room temperature, it'll be a lot easier to install. This driver's side footwell was the hardest one to install. The pedals were in the way. It was just a lot of work, but the good news is, even though it's sticky and adhesive, it's not going to really stick until you hit it with the roller, so you can still make small adjustments as you get everything put in place. Right-handed, all of this one is left-handed work, so I think it's in there a little crooked. It's not as perfect as the others, but it's in. Sounds good, nice solid sound. You can hear the hollow sound where there isn't any versus the solid sound. I gotta say that that wore me out. It is just after noon, stopped raining, so it's just humid now. I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm ready to start putting the rubber floors in. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I need a break. Let's get some hydration going. And we're back. You didn't even notice the change. It is hot again. The sun is back out. It has stopped raining. And I think it's time to put in the Armorlite rubber floor. So I brought up the big one that goes in the back, and I'm gonna throw that in now, and then we'll throw in the front ones, put the Kraken air compressor mount and all that back in, start putting seats back in. This is exciting.
back vinyl floor went in pretty easy. You just have to loosen the center console and like remove all of the trim. The front passenger side, same thing. As long as the trim was removed, it went in pretty easily. This front driver's side though, holy smokes, it's kicking my butt right now. I've got all the trim removed and it'll fit, but I can't get it tucked behind the center console. Well, more like the dash, kind of below the locker switch. Man, I just can't get it to fit there. I feel like I get that close and then it stops moving. So I'm going to fight with that a little bit more. Of all of this, the Armorlite floor has been the hardest to put in. You do have to remove all the trim. It's way easier with the seats out. I can't believe their instructions tell you to do it with the seats in. This would be just the world's worst install if the seats are in. If you're doing this, take the seats out. You will thank yourself later. So yeah, I'm kind of at a thinking spot is what I'll call it. I need to get this in because then it's trim, seats, and just reassemble. And it's literally down to like a 1 square inch that I can't fit behind some plastic. So I'm gonna fight with it a little bit more. Maybe enjoy a little bit of AC and come back, and after I've regrouped, give it another shot. I screwed that up. I screwed it up. I didn't have the plastic, I don't know what else to call them, but the plastic nipple lockers on there. So I had to take it out, had to put that on. Finally got it again. This is the hardest part of this entire thing. Tearing out the seats, putting the sound skins in, all of that was a cakewalk. This Armorlite sucks to install. I really hope it was worth it. I mean, it sucks. The other thing is all of the holes, I can't get them to line up with the holes in the floor of the Jeep. I've been out here with a mallet trying to like hit it around and get them to match up. I can't figure it out. I'm gonna let it be. I think these are supposed to be long enough to go in through like the Jeep, the metal floor in the Jeep. But on this one, where I'm at right now, the holes do line up and I can't get it to match. Could be because I added sound deadening. I doubt that that's the reason, but if it is, like, there is zero tolerance on this floor if that's the case. So from here, time to reassemble, put all the trim back in, because you have to take the trim out to do the floor, which sucks. There's a lot to reassemble right now. So I'm gonna just get started and slowly work my way through this. The heat is real. So slow and steady. Hopefully I don't have any brain fog from the heat and we can get this wrapped up. Put seats back in just a little bit. Remember that bit about brain fog? I just shot all of that since I've been out here in 120 frames a second. So if it looks weird, it's because it's 120 frames a second and not 24 like this right now. Like 24 you can see like motion blur. In that 120 there won't be any motion blur. So yep, it's hot. My brain is broken. Okay, trim's not going back on. I've got to experiment. I think I'm going to cut out some of the carpet underneath the rubber. See if that solves my problem. I feel like it's just 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'd like to be putting this back together right now. It's just dragging on. The Armorlite floor, I wouldn't do it again. I know you can order a Jeep with it now. That's how I would do it. At least on the 24 Wrangler. I don't think you can get the Gladiator with it. Boy, this is wearing me out. Yeah, that needs trimming for sure. stupid. I assume that if you put the Armorlite floor in without the sound deadening underneath it, it'll probably fit perfect. I don't think these two products are meant to play together, but I am ambitious and I really want to stop a lot of the road noise in here as much as I can. That's why I'm doing it this way. So it's likely if you just go this route, you won't have to do it. That said, the install of the SoundSkin is so much simpler. I almost prefer that, and I probably should have just put the carpet back in on top of it, truthfully. But we're this far in, I'm committed. I want to show you that I can get it to work. So I'm just gonna shave off all this stuff on the side, and then hopefully this one squeezes back in. Unfortunately, the front driver's side is the one that has been giving me the most trouble. So far, left to right feels so much easier. Now the hard part, getting this tucked under. If I can easily... Nope, that still catches. I mean, I've got it almost down to the rubber. That's an inch away. Boy, it just there's so much electrical right down here that it does. Ow! What is that? So something's come out of its clip. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Okay. We gotta clear up some of this material. That's what we gotta do. Where's my knife? Let's just get that out of here. So there's a wiring harness, factory wiring harness in a plastic shield. That's what I think I need to clear out of here. Not going to be easy since I've already adhered this. Dang it. It's only a little messy. Please work. Please work. That feels easier. Feels nicer left to right. Whew. That's a look. It looks better, doesn't it? Okay. Let's see if I can't get this connected then. Like that. So this is the issue. Trying to get that underneath. See how much easier this is to pull out. Yeah, still a pain. Still catches on right there. Oh, this is really wearing me out. I have to call it after this one. Get under it. This was a lot. That's in. I hope that the trim attaches now. It still wasn't as easy as I wanted it to be, but it was easier. Oh, that fan. Feels so good. Okay. Does this tell me what time it is? No. It's probably time to call it a day. That was rough. Holy cow, that was rough. Water. I know I thought I'd have the doors started tomorrow morning, but I think tomorrow is assembly day and then we'll do the doors another time. It's all right. We'll do a baseline without the doors, and we'll finish the doors and do another follow-up video. All right, I'm gonna call it a night. We'll finish this in the morning. This is it, a new day. I am going to finish this project. I'm wearing red today, just like Tiger would wear red the last day of the Masters. We are going to finish this like champions. Hot dog. Hey, I'm in my passenger seat. I did it. So I used this one as a guinea pig. Just a few notes as I move over to the driver's side. Because I'm using the Desert Does It seat jackers, I have to cut out a little bit of the rubber floor to get these to fit. If you don't have these, you won't have to do that on yours. I like these. They lift up your knees just a smidge. I mean, half an inch maybe. And then that gives you just a little less fatigue in your legs on long drives. Sits you a little further back in the seat. I think they're more comfortable. I had them on the Wrangler. I had them on the Bronco. I'm going to have them here. So I've got to cut away a little bit of the rubber floor. Then I can move the seat in, get it all connected with the wires and stuff underneath, reconnect all that stuff, and then loosely connect all four corners. Once that's done, I can go corner by corner and just kind of slowly get it seated, pun intended, into place. So I'm going to start on that now. Now that I know how it works, it shouldn't take as long. I think this one, figuring it out, took more than an hour. So this project is really wearing on me. here I am in the front seat because it's all put back together. I did just take it for a quick lap. That's why it's not in the garage. And that was just to make sure that the airbag light would turn off. It did. Now I'm back. Got to clean up the garage, and then we're going to go do another decibel test. Pretty darn excited. So, more chores. Feels so good to have this done. Let's get some tests. So about 40 miles an hour right now. I don't remember the numbers, but it feels like we're in the ballpark. I don't know if doing the floor is going to be the biggest change. So at idle, we're around 45. Trying to get to 40. Car in front of me is a little slow. But that looks like low 60s. Looks like about 63 to 66. So 70 is looking like it's registering between 69 and 71. A lot more wind noise up top. Watching it, it looks like it peaks around 73, 74, which is my conversational voice. So that's really not bad at all. Like you can see me as I'm talking that it's getting, you know, around that same range. So to be able to talk normally and not feel like I'm yelling, it's not so bad. Now, is it that different than the last time I did this? I can't say it is. Sitting here, it feels like most of my road noise is coming through the roof. Now, I feel less vibration in my feet. That's interesting. I guess that only makes sense. I'm trying to pay attention to the doors as well as I'm driving here, but I really feel like most of my road noise is through the roof now. Yeah, I think most of it's through the roof. A little bit through the doors, mostly through the roof. Now, as this truck passes me, there's one coming up. We'll hear it through the doors, I think. I'm trying to listen to see if it's the glass or if it's actually coming from where we'll throw a little bit of sound deadening in the doors. I don't know. I'm going to turn the AC back on because I am dying. Woo! I think I went through a roller coaster of initial thoughts of, dang it, didn't really work. The numbers aren't showing huge changes to, wait a second, I'm only noticing sound really from my roof and then as someone passes me through the door. Which tells me the floor is working. The more solid sound is really the best way I can describe it. It's like when people would test drive a Bronco and they're always like, this feels so planted, because there's really no other word for it. That's what it feels like. It feels like the floor is more solid. I get less road vibration, less road feedback in my foot now, which I didn't expect that as a side effect of putting this in, but kudos, that's great. Truthfully, I don't know if the numbers are going to reflect a huge change, but I can feel a change. I am excited to continue this series, do the doors, and do the roof. I think those will have probably the most significant numbers change. All right, would I buy the sound skins? I think if I were desperate, yes. Would I do the floor and the sound skins again? I think I would just do the floor if I really wanted a rubber floor. But if I was going for sound deadening and that solid sound that I've gotten, I would do sound skins. Doing them both was a huge pain, far more work than I wanted it to be. I'm happy I'm done with it, but I don't know if I would do the install again. That was more than I want to do. So this is not the end of the story. There is a lot more sound deadening to be done, but this is the end of this video. This will be a 3-part series where I then add sound deadening to the doors, and we will do the hardtop. So there's a lot to be done to see how quiet we can actually get the Jeep to be. I really hope you liked this video. I do have links in the description for everything you'll need to do this install if you want to do it yourself. Plan on a few days. I was filming, so it took me 3 days, and it was also stupid hot out, and I don't have a full shop. So if you're a lone man like me and you're doing it by yourself, I'd say give yourself 2 days to make mistakes and fix them, rather than make mistakes and leave them, because I've done that before on installs. So lesson learned. Seems to be working. I don't know if the numbers will exactly reflect that, but I'm happy with it, and I'm glad I did it. And it looks super clean with the rubber floor. So again, links in the description to everything you need. I think that does it for me. So if you like the video, please like the video. If you have questions, leave me a comment. If you want to hang out again, well, make sure to subscribe. Till next time, I'm Justin B. McBride.
Real quick, before we end the video, we need to address the elephant in the room and look at the numbers. You can see that after 45 miles an hour, the numbers go up. And I think there are 2 reasons behind that. Number 1 being the microphone was pointing up. Majority of the road noise I've been getting has been from my roof rack. So that's not great, and something I should have thought of when I was initially testing. Number 2, I was driving in the opposite direction on the freeway, this time against the wind. So that road noise was even more, especially on the roof rack. And that's why I think those numbers are higher. It is a noticeable difference. It's not going to blow your socks off. It's not going to make you think that you're in some luxury Rolls Royce. It's still a Jeep, but it is nicer. The vibration from the floor is noticeably different, and I still think it's worth it, especially on long drives. But you can see my numbers. They might convince you otherwise, and that's okay. From a butt in the seat perspective, I think it was still worth it. It was a lot of work, but I'm glad that I did it.